Today, we're going to talk about creating a kind and caring classroom, which I think many are interested to know more about because we're seeing a problem, a crisis in kindness or the lack of it among many young people. Okay, and that's what we're going to tackle today. Researchers see show that while the young people today are smarter, more self-assured, with conviction, right? They fight for certain advocacies. But at the same time, this generation of young people today, the kids today, can be considered as the most self-centered and vain and proud in the history of mankind. And also most stressed out on record. Self-centered because especially of the kind of digital lifestyle they are all immersed in. Digital lifestyle where a kid today can spend the whole day just with his screen. The screen of the laptop, the screen of the tablet, the screen of the cell phone. And that's the problem. I mean, that creates a kind of attitude mindset that is rooted in what we call self-absorption. They can be very absorbed with themselves, couldn't care less about others. So yesterday or 2 days ago, I mentioned that the researchers also showed that the young people today have lowest empathy on record, highest pride and self-centeredness, and lowest empathy. They Many of them don't know how to feel for other kids, for other people, because they can be so absorbed with themselves. And then the digital lifestyle where young people um, can be spending hours and hours every day in social media, in Facebook, in Twitter, in Instagram, in TikTok. Now, let me make it very clear. While I said young generation, young people today, we can also be um, entrapped by that kind of lifestyle. We too can be spending hours in TikTok, in Facebook, in Instagram. And when you go to social media, you are subjected to a lot of what we call culture of hatred. You know, the thrill of viral bashing. Every so often, you're going to encounter online in Facebook, in Twitter, somebody being bashed, condemned by the netizens. And you have thousands of netizens posting negative things. For example, about Mayor Alice Guo. I mean, it's the hottest issue of the day. And you have thousands of people saying things they will not tell her face to face. And then you multiply that with the many other viral things that explode in the internet. And yet, many will not say those things face to face. Why? Because they are not good, not kind, not charitable. I mean, okay, while let's say they are guilty, those people who are being bashed are really guilty and have committed something wrong or something bad. But who are we to condemn the human being? Um, that is the kind of environment we are seeing in the world today where the young people are growing up in. Social media has spawned a culture of hatred. And then you go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and there is a sort of glorification of the vulgar. What is vulgar? the use of foul language. For example, you watch a movie in Netflix, in YouTube, in the movie house, and you can have movies today where the F word, the foul language, the bad words are repeated 200 times, 400 times, 1,000 times. I'm not exaggerating. If you actually start counting the bad words, profanities that are uttered in an ordinary movie, they're not even R-rated movies. They can be um, PG-13 movies, and yet the kids can be subjected to a lot of profanities, bad words. So that put together with lack of empathy, self-absorption epidemic, and you now have an unkind and uncaring environment. And that is what is happening in many classrooms, in many schools today. Kids come to school, they don't know anymore respect, courtesy, kindness, niceness. I mean, when I was a kid, my parents would get angry at me if I ignore a teacher along the corridor that I would meet. They would correct me and they would tell me, "Oh, say good morning. Oh, say good afternoon." My parents were very strict about that. They wanted me to be courteous, kind, nice, respectful. That's not what we see many times today. I go around the country visiting schools, and sometimes I visit a school. I walk around the corridor, and you see students running like as if they don't see you, they don't acknowledge you, they don't recognize you. Sadly, sometimes even teachers will not recognize you, will not greet you, will not ask, "Hi, ma, hi, sir. Is there anything you need? Are you looking for somebody, something?" They would be good teachers, would usually stop to be of help. That's not what we many times see anymore today. So that is something we need to address, and that is the purpose of our seminar this afternoon. How to make sure that in spite of the kind of environment the young people are growing up in spite of the death of empathy, if you want to put it that way, among many young people today, our classroom can still be kind and caring. And we have to do it deliberately. We have to systematically put in place certain practices, certain rules, certain procedures, like what we talked about yesterday, to make sure that our school is a kind, caring, welcoming school. On day one of this series of 5 seminars, I talked about teachers. We have to be on a marketing mode because we have to make sure the students do not want to transfer to other schools. We want them to stay in our school. But many times, one of the top reasons why students want to go to another school is because they feel they are being bullied. They feel they are not treated well. They feel their classmates are unkind to them. So we have to make sure that our students feel welcome, cared for, especially because when you have classes where students are teenagers, right? They now highlight or give a lot of importance to mental health issues. I mean, they grapple with mental health issues, and so in this time and age when we hear of teen suicides, we have to make sure students find our classroom to be a haven of kindness. or maybe not that extreme of suicide, but just depression. Many times, at the root of depression is precisely the absence of kindness and caring that everyone yearns for, including you and me. I mean, you and I also want to be treated with kindness, to be cared for. So then, we will talk about that. If we really want our children become caring people, we must show them ways to respond to another's concerns, distress, frustrations, or sorrow. It's our best tactic to keep their empathy capacities open and avoid the infamous empathy gap. After all, if the students feel welcome, cared for, kindness, student achievement will follow. I mean, think about it. If the student does not feel threatened, feels at home, feels that everyone in the classroom is kind, they can concentrate more, they can study better, they can learn more easily. Achievement necessarily increases. Similarly, you and I, teachers, can teach better, right? I mean, if the students, if we know that the students are happy to be inside our classroom, we are more inspired to teach. We are more excited to come to class. On the other hand, if you know there is a lot of bullying that happens, fighting among students, among the classmates, you don't like to be in a place like that. So, a caring classroom, a kind and caring classroom is not only comfortable, it allows you, the teacher, to spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts. Now, um, many of you, thank you so much for the feedback that you write in the evaluation. I go over them and I try to see how I can incorporate comments, especially that are given there. And many of you appreciated very much, for example, there's so many strategies that they can use because of our session yesterday and the other day. And so I'd like to right away get into here are concrete strategies, this time from Dr. Hal Urban. I mentioned him the other day as one of our references, his book on 20 Things Good Teachers Do. And here is strategy number one in his book. While, as I said, while he talks about 20 things good teachers do, he actually talks about dozens and dozens of strategies. I'm going to share with you two or three of those strategies from Hal Urban because they are directly related to what we are covering today, how to create a kind and caring classroom. Here's the first. He said this is the most important thing he did as a teacher. And he learned it on the last day of his first year as a teacher. Last day of his first year as a teacher. On the last day, students are submitting final exam papers, right? They pass the paper to the teacher after answering the final exam. And here
Paper,
comes a
talagang ganun
girl.
namin ginagawa nung side.
Let me see. Ma'am,
Oo.
please
Pero
mute
di ba yung
muna.
iba kasi, oo.
Dali.
Pero hindi kami EJ grade 4 ni Sir Ray, di ba? Forward sila from the back to the ano.
Sandali
It's really
Ma'am,
size.
paki-mute please. You are unmuted. I will turn off yung let me see. Okay. Yan. Okay. So, here's the strategy of Hal Urban. As I said, he learned it on the last day of his first year as a teacher. Here came a student passing a paper and a girl passing her test paper to Hal Urban. And then Hal Urban realized something. I never talked to this girl. I don't even remember how her voice sounds like. I don't even remember many things about her. And Hal Urban felt very, very bad. He realized he didn't treat this girl, one of her students, for 200 class days that she was inside the classroom. Al Urban never bothered to get to know more about her and even talk to her. That is bad. Al Urban realized, I mean, you and I wouldn't want to experience anything like that. To be part of a class, but to be ignored, especially to be ignored by the teacher. You wouldn't want that. And Hal Urban realized I practically ignored this girl for the whole school year that she was in my class. I feel so bad. And so here's what Hal Urban decided. He decided that no, things have to change. Starting now, in the next school year, and he would do it for the next 20 plus years that he would be inside the classroom, he would welcome every single student with a handshake. He would welcome every student to his classroom every single day with a handshake. Now, some of you might be thinking, what, Mr. Rentoy, that's a waste of time. Shaking hands of 30, 40, 50 students, even in some schools, you have 50 students. But Hal Urban said, no, it's not a waste of time. Because 20 years later, 10 years later, those students he handled would see him, and that is what they would remember of him. The teacher who made the students feel welcome inside the classroom. The teacher who made every single student be treated like a human being, as a human being should be treated. And he said this is the most important thing that he did. Eventually, some of them preferred, instead of a handshake, a fist bump. Okay. Some of them preferred a high five. Okay. Some of them preferred a hug because they never get a hug. Some of them, okay, we Filipinos, maybe you can say some of them will prefer a mano po. Now, I understand some of us think that's kind of a lot of time is eaten up having to shake the hands of every single one every single day. Okay, so maybe what you can do is to make sure you make eye contact with everyone in the whole 40, 50 minutes that they are inside your classroom every single day. That eye contact, at least, is the least acknowledgement that they are there, that you see them, that they are not invisible. George Isaac Brown says, never let the demands of your job cause you to forget that each one of your students is a feeling, thinking human being. For education to be effective, it must be personal. It's worthwhile. It's not a waste of time. Because, John Dewey said, the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. The deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. And you can also say one of the biggest hurts or harms or pains a person can feel is to be ignored or to be treated as not important. Now, on day one, on the first day of the school year, from that point on, and the rest of his 20 plus years inside the classroom, Al Urban would make sure he gets to teach students how to do handshake, of looking straight to the eyes of the person, shaking hands firmly with a smile. That is a skill that many, believe it or not, it's a skill that many young people today do not know anymore. How to greet people with a handshake. Believe me, I have met teenagers or Kids, grade school kids, who do not know how to shake hands with a firm, to give people a firm handshake. It's important. Um, and that is what the students of Hal Urban will remember him for a long time. 20 years later, 30 years later, he would meet many of them in a gathering, in a reunion, in a homecoming, and that's what they remember him for. The teacher who treated everyone with respect, with kindness, who created a classroom that is kind and caring. So here's the second thing. Second most important thing he said he did as a teacher. Second strategy from Hal Urban's 20 things good teachers do. Teachers, please teach your students manners and the golden rule. Even if you're teaching science, math, social studies, history, Filipino, teach them manners and the golden rule. All of us should do this. Um, all of us should put our act together and make sure that the students hear this over and over and over again. Manners and the golden rule. You remember 2 days ago, I mentioned that DepEd, the Department of Education, decided to bring back GMRC, good manners and right conduct, because they acknowledge that there is a crisis in the manners of many young people. Well, we include the golden rule. In fact, yesterday, remember I said, according to Harry Wong, there should only be enough rules that students can memorize, not more. How can you expect them to follow rules if they cannot even memorize the rules? Well, if you want, you can even just say, class, we only have one rule in this classroom, and that is the golden rule. Do not do unto others what you do not want others to do unto you. Or the positive of it, do unto others what you would want others do unto you. Teach manners. Teach them to say good morning, good afternoon, please, thank you, I am sorry. Those are all part of good manners. And teachers, we should be saying please many times, exaggeratedly many times. Please be seated. Please raise your hand if you want to answer. Please sit up properly. Please sit up straight. And then when you're collecting the test papers, when you're collecting the assignments, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Let me now continue with my please and thank you should be so exaggeratedly frequently heard inside the classroom. Okay, it says here, my internet connection is unstable. Can I check? Please type in the chat box 3 if sound, video are okay. 2 if I am disappearing. I'm not getting disconnected. Okay, so thank you. Okay, good. I need that assurance because when the message comes out, your internet connection is unstable, then you get very nervous and you don't know if you're connected. Thank you very much for the assurance that you're hearing me. Okay, so teach manners and the golden rule. Because according to Henry Rogers, if manners were an animal, it would be an endangered species. Okay, here's third strategy from Hal Urban. And this is a strategy that he would do on day one. You see, that's why the title of the book of Harry Wong is First Days of School, because some of the most important things we need to teach should be taught in the first days of school. And here is what he does on day one. After introducing himself, getting the students excited about the school year, getting them to know each other, here's what Hal Urban would do. First, he would ask the question, okay, class, Can you describe to me the kind of atmosphere that you do not like, the kind of environment in the classroom that you do not like? And then students will start raising their hands to describe a classroom they don't like, a classroom environment they do not want. People will start giving adjectives like, Sir, I don't like rude classmates. I don't like inconsiderate classmates. I don't want disrespectful classmates. I don't want to be I don't want to hear offensive language. All those negative things you write on the left side of the board. Okay? Let them give as many adjectives and write them on one side of the blackboard or whiteboard. And then, second question. After you have a list of things they don't like, you're going to ask them now, okay, now describe to me a class atmosphere, environment that you like, that you want to see, or that you want to be in. People will start raising their hands and they will say, Sir, I want a classroom with courteous classmates, considerate teacher, respectful classmates, polite, helpful, friendly, etc. Write all of them down on the right side of the blackboard or the whiteboard. Okay? After this, you ask two questions, right? On one side, you're going to see descriptions of a classroom or class atmosphere they don't like. And then on the other side, classroom atmosphere they like, they want. After you have those two lists, you're going to tell the class, okay, class, this did not come from me. You did this list, you made this list. Can we therefore, this is day one, can we therefore commit ourselves not to allow or to stop or to prevent all these things on the left side of the board: rudeness, inconsiderateness, disrespect, offensive, etc. It came from you. So you might as well commit yourself to prohibit them and not to allow them. And then, can we commit ourselves, therefore, to live this atmosphere, these descriptions on the right side of the board? Because it came from you. And those two lists can now end up in posters. On one side, list of description of classroom they like. On the other side, a poster with all those things they don't like. The next time around, the next time you hear a student uttering a bad word, a profanity, an offensive language, teachers, you don't need to say anything. It's enough to say, John, call the person, and then point to the poster. Meaning to say, John, didn't we commit ourselves at the start of the school year that we will not allow profanity, bad words? But you're not saying it. You just have to call the person's name, John, and then point to the poster. And that says everything. No need to shout, no need to yell, no need to say, how many times do you have to tell you? No need to say, what do you not understand about that? No, nothing. It's enough to say John and then point to the poster. That says everything. But you have to commit, get everybody to commit themselves that we will disallow those things on the left side, the poster on the left side of the room, and that we will foster those things that are on the other side of the classroom. Okay, so those are already three strategies I've shared with you on how to create a kind and caring classroom from Hal Urban. There are more. We are going to, in fact, look at some systematic, serious, how do you call this? Real studies made by experts on how to make sure that the classroom is kind and caring. This is from Dr. Um, Thomas Licona, one of the pillars of character education in the world today. And he was the one who studied hundreds of researches done about kindness and caring inside the classroom, and then put everything in a, well, like a summary form like this. You should have school-wide strategies, and then you should have classroom strategies. Okay, but I'll go straight into the I will not anymore, how do you call this, go over things that he discovered about the research, but instead go straight into what is the secret. What is the secret to successful um, bully prevention programs? There are many programs that are available in the market. Some you have to pay a lot to be able to put the program in place. Some others are merely list of strategies. But after having scientifically, systematically, and really scholarly, in a very scholarly way, studying all those researches, here are three secrets to success, according to Dr. Licona. Number one, you want to have a kind and caring classroom, involve the staff. And by staff here, we include the ladies selling in the cafeteria, the security guard, the maintenance men, the janitors. They should also be involved in creating a kind and caring atmosphere, climate, school, classroom. Number two, students should be involved. Because after all, the problem of bullying is a problem of students. It's normally not the problem of teachers, it's the students. Therefore, if you want to have a successful program to create a kind and caring classroom, to prevent bullying, involve the student involvement. And the number three, remember the past 3 days, we mentioned that the parents are the primary educators of the children. The students, in fact, are supposed to learn character at home. By the time the kid reaches school age, he should already have learned at home respect, courtesy, kindness, being nice, being good, not being a bully. Parents are the ones. But, and this is something I observed in some schools, there are some schools where the teachers seem to look at parents as opponents, as people in the other side of the fence, which is not good because the parents are not opponents, they are our partners. In fact, parents put their kids in our school because they want us, teachers, to be their partners in helping their kids grow up to be not just good in math, science, and English, but especially good human beings. So these are the three secrets of success. Let's go to how, number one, how do we get the staff involved? Here is strategy number one for Dr. Licona. The pages here refer to the book that he wrote of Smart and Good High Schools, which in the when you receive your um, link to the recording, right? All of you usually receive in your email the link to the recording. Aside from the recording, the link to the recording of this session, you're also going to see there a link where you can download the book Smart and Good High Schools by Dr. Thomas Licona. And the pages here refer to the pages of the book. So here's strategy number one on how to get the staff involved. create a touchstone, which most likely all schools usually would have, because the touchstone is like the mission vision, the core values, or the battle cry, or um, the motto. The motto. One of the keys to success of that school along Katipunan, you know the school I'm referring to. One of the secrets of their success as a school, one of the most respected schools in the country, is because they are very clear about their touchstone. And what is their touchstone? To be a man for others. That's like their motto. That's like what they want to be able to accomplish in their school. That's what they want out of every student that they have in the school, to be a man for others. So that is a touchstone that everybody knows. It can be in a poster, in in the patch. Some schools, the motto is engraved, or how they call it, embroidered in the patch. Virtus et scientia. It's in Latin. And I wonder if the students understand and know what it stands for, what the school stands for. Better yet, if that touchstone is something that was even crafted with the involvement of everyone. Now, not necessarily crafted from scratch, crafted from zero, because, as I said, most schools from the very beginning of their existence, they have those core values in place. But maybe we just need to orient orient better the students, the teachers, and the staff. Better if they can be found in every corner, posted on the classroom doors. They are um, in a, how do you call this, like a small sticker that is posted on every table of the teacher, of the secretary in the accounting office, of um, the locker of the janitors, that this is what the school stands for. This is our touchstone. This is what we consider our motto, battle cry, or the way we do things. This is how we do things here. So, develop a school touchstone or way. If not originally written by students, teachers, and officers and parents, at least get everybody to know that this is our battle cry. Orient every single um, teacher, staff, academic or non-academic staff, about this touchstone or way. For example, in a school in the US, this is what they came up with, the Northridge Way. At Northridge School, we pursue excellence in scholarship and character. We celebrate and honor each other by being respectful, honest, kind, and fair. Those are their four core values. We give our best inside and outside the classroom. This is who we are, even when no one is watching. That's their way. It's written all over the campus. Every teacher has it printed in a small paper like that, which is hanging on their table, on their desk, on their. It's all over the place. Before they go to from the faculty room to go to the classroom, they read it to remind themselves. I have to make sure I carry the Northridge way. I do things the Northridge way. Even better for the students, they recite it to start every day, to remind themselves, this is what we are, this is how we do things. Okay? These are the four important keys to successful implementation of the touchstone. Number one, visibility. It has to be visible. As soon as the student enters the school, he would see it at the gate, along the corridors, um, at the doors of every classroom. It's there, visible. It's in the diary, it's in the notebook, it's printed in the student's handbook. Um, it's all over. And even the non-academic staff are aware of it. That is how we mm, involve the staff in this whole thing. Number two, academics. Teachers should find a way of incorporating these core values into their academics. For example, the literature class. Questions like, if this character in the novel we are reading is a student in this school, will he be a good student? Yeah, that is incorporating into academics the core values, the way, the touchstone. Number three, discipline. Even in disciplining, we use the touchstone, we use the core values. Joey, you understand why you are being detained, right? Because what you did goes contrary to what the school stands for. Because we don't want you to continue going against the core values of the school. In other words, when we discipline, we're not just after punishing, threatening, or making somebody suffer. We find a way of making the person realize that you need discipline because we want you to be able to achieve our core values. We want you to comply with the touchstone of the school. And then there should be very strong orientation of new students, new teachers, new parents. They should all be made to understand this is what we stand for as a school. This is how we do things here. Other schools may have their own core values and they have their way of doing things. But here in our school, this is how we do things. And then for the academic, non-academic staff, there should be ongoing professional development. Very frequently, faculty, teachers should be revisiting the school's mission, vision, and the core values. There should be talks, workshops, reflections about the core values of the school. And then for the non-academic staff, they too should receive formation, talks, workshops for them to have better understanding and deeper appreciation or greater appreciation of the school's mission, vision, core values. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next secret to success in creating a kind and caring classroom, creating a kind and caring atmosphere, climate in the school is to get the students involved. Students should be involved because they are the ones who many times are the cause of the bullying that happens. I mean, not many times, but in fact, the problem of bullying, the problem of uh, unkind actions, uncaring actions, many times it's among the students. Here's the first: make sure for students to be involved, make sure we have class meetings. And there are so many different types, kinds of class meetings. That is how we involve the students. Students should be made to discuss solutions to problems, possible actions in the face of a crisis, for example, inside the classroom. They are not merely recipients. they can, I mean, they should be given a voice. And that is how we involve them in creating a kind and caring classroom. There was one conference I attended in Washington, D.C. on character formation. It was a 3-day conference. There were so many speakers, there were so many breakout sessions. And then on the last day, the closing session, the speaker said, "You heard so many strategies, but if you're going to just choose one, only one strategy when you go back to your schools to create a kind and caring um, school," he said, "it should be this: make sure there are class meetings. Students are empowered when you give them a voice. Here are 20 different types of class meetings. One, good news meeting, where you're going to tell the class, okay, class, can you share good news to the rest of the class? What are the good things that you have observed in this first week of the school year that you have been here? Good news meeting, meaning to say they are now going to look for what are the good things, which is very nice because then you realize it's things are going on well. It's not all negative. It's not all problematic. Two, second type of meeting, circle whip. It's like getting everybody in a circle and being given a how do you call this? A chance to, for example, complete a sentence. No objections to whatever one says. Each one should be allowed to complete a sentence, choose one from, I'm going to flash it on screen now. Here are some samples of unfinished sentences that you will ask. Um, and it's a circle whip because it's like everyone is in a circle, but you don't have to literally be in a circle. But the idea is everyone should be given a chance to complete a sentence of his choice. Something I like about this class is let him say it. No objection. No one saying no. That's not true. No, everyone should be given a chance to voice out. Something I think would make our class better is this, and then let him say it. A decision I think we should make is, I'm wondering why. Something that bothers me. I wish. So, a meeting can be you, the teacher, just choose one of these unfinished sentence and get everybody to finish it. Or you can choose 3 from here, write it on the board, and then as you go through the circle, everyone is given a chance to choose which one they want to complete. That is giving students a voice, that is giving the students involvement. I mean, that is a way of getting the students involved. And then you realize, wait, there are concerns about, I don't know, the schedule, a teacher, a subject, a classmate, something that bothers me. And then you have 4 or 5 students mentioning a classmate bothering them or being a difficulty for them. Appreciation time, compliment time, goal setting meeting. It's one of the strategies I teach when I talk about the many strategies you can do to form character inside the classroom. The compliments game. And here's how it goes. Last 2 minutes before you dismiss the class. Okay, class, 2 minutes before dismissal, put your pens down. Let's play the compliments game. Anyone wants to compliment a classmate, a teacher, or anything or anybody in school? In the beginning, maybe they will have to learn how to choose or learn how to do it. But as they get the hang of it, you will have students raising their hand. Sir, I want to compliment the John who lent me a ball pen. I lost my ball pen, but he lent me, and I want to thank John. Maybe an applause for John. Sir, I want to compliment the cleaners of the day. The classroom is so clean and orderly, and I think they deserve a round of applause. An applause for the cleaners. Ma'am, I want to compliment you because the lesson is difficult, but you found a way of making us understand it. An applause for you, ma'am. Just 2 minutes and get as many people to contribute a compliment they want to share. That's a fantastic way of ending the day or ending a class. The like ending the class on a high note where people exchange good things they want to say about others. Goal setting meeting. Normally, you do this at the start of the school year, at the start of a quarter, at the start of the month. Okay, class, let's have a goal setting meeting. Can we set goals for us for this month? Like too many absences last month. Can we set a goal where really absences are kept to a minimum? We have so many problems of tardiness. Students coming in late. Can we set a goal for this one? Goal setting and get the students to contribute what possible goals can we set for ourselves this month, this quarter, this semester, this school year. And then those goals become like posted, written on the board. They write it in their diary, they write it in their notebook, and every now and then you go back to, okay, class, how are we doing regarding our goals? Goals in academics, goals in behavior, goals related to etc. And it came from them. They own it. That is the purpose of having a class meeting just to discuss goals. Okay? And then you have many more kinds of class meetings. But the important thing is there should be opportunities for students to voice concerns, worries, suggestions, recommendations. And the only way we can do that is when we give them or we hold class meetings, rule setting, evaluating the rules that we set, stage setting, setting the stage for success, setting the stage for our participation in the Sabayang Bigkasan, setting the stage for that stage setting. Feedback and evaluation. Okay, class, we just finished a quarter. Let's go back. Let's try to evaluate what went well and what went wrong in this quarter that just finished. Why were there many who did poorly in math? Let's get feedback. Let's evaluate. Or reflections on learning. Or student presentation. Okay, class, next week for our class meeting, I heard that there are some presentations in the English reports that were spectacular. I heard from your teacher. So let us give them recognition or let us give them opportunity to present again the exceptional presentations or good projects or good outputs that students had. Problem solving meeting. This is crucial. If there is a problem inside the classroom, hold a meeting with the students about it to look for solutions. For all you know, there are solutions that they have in mind that may even be more demanding than what we teachers can think of. Academic issues. Why are there people failing? So many people failing in this or that subject. What can we do to help those students? Maybe we need a buddy system. Maybe we need extra sessions with a teacher. We will have to request for remedial classes, or maybe the top students in the class can give tutorials for those who want after dismissal. Academic issues. make them own those problems, those issues, and make them come out with solutions themselves. Classroom improvement meeting, follow-up meeting on a previous meeting, planning meeting, concept meeting, sticky situations meeting. Somebody asked me, what's a sticky situation? A sticky situation, for example, is when you have, just as one of the many examples, um, there is a problem with a teacher. The students are all terrified by the teacher, but nobody can possibly go to the teacher to tell that teacher, Mom, we are terrified of you. That's a sticky situation. You have to be very careful about looking for solutions. We may need to involve the principal, the subject coordinator, or whoever is in a position to work on it. Sticky situation, maybe a classmate who seem to be um, smelling of foul odor, but nobody has the gall, um, you know, the strength of character to be able to tell the person. It's a sticky situation. Suggestion box, meetings about meetings. You're going to calendar, for example, the meetings for this month and what will be the topics that we're going to cover, etc., etc. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, with the so many kinds of class meetings you can have, especially for class advisors, there's no reason why you will say, I don't know what to meet about. With the 20 that I showed you, there are just so many to talk about. But we should have meetings because that is a way of empowering the students, of making them own a problem, a concern, a worry, or so. Let us look into some more things that you can do in order to empower the students, in order to involve the students. Welcoming freshmen, for example, or welcoming the students to school. Here's something I always tell teachers. Teachers, day one of the school year should be a celebration. You have to celebrate the fact that the students chose your school over so many other possibilities, so many other options that they have. And so I would usually mobilize the student council to make sure that the day one of the school year, when students come back after the summer break, and then new students coming in, they should feel happy to be in your school with balloons, with the um, celebration. I mean, it should be in the air that you are happy to see everybody back. And I would even make the student council, for example, I would mobilize them and I tell them, and the teachers too, you have to make the teachers feel excited about the new school year. When teachers come on day one, uh, please, student council, put Zesto, brewed coffee, and ensaymada on their desks, on their table, to let them know that you're very happy that the new school year is starting and you continue to teach in this school. I mean, it should be like that. If there are administrators who are here in this room, I hope you get the idea. The teachers also need to feel welcome to start the new school year. And then the new students should feel, wow, it's so happy. I'm so happy to be in this school. Uh, some of them will be coming brought by their parents, their first day ever in your school. And the parents should see this is a happy school. And it's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of resources. It's not a waste of money. And I would give it as a challenge to the student council. Student council, raise funds for it. It's worthwhile to create a celebration atmosphere on the first day of the school year. It has got to be like that. Welcoming freshmen, welcoming the teachers, welcoming new students who transferred from another school. They come. And their parents will ask them that evening, so, John, how's your new school? And John should be able to say, it's a fantastic school, Mom. I'm so happy to be there. It's got to be, I mean, consciously, we have to find ways that John will go home sharing his excitement with his parents. Okay? Now, you're familiar with a buddy system. You partner a student with another student. Well, here's one way of creating a kind, caring, welcoming school. Have buddy classes. An older class being a buddy of a younger class. And they take lunch every so often, every other week, once every other week, or even once a week. And the young people know they can run to their kuyas, their older brothers in that older batch. They can ask them about, this is our teacher in math. How do you do? How do you survive? They can have get-togethers every now and then, just asking questions, and the older ones answering. And the older ones know that they are entrusted with a task of taking care of this younger batch. By younger, I mean a grade 7 class has a body of grade 4 class, or a grade 6 class being a body class of a grade 3 section, etc. But that's an important thing in the same way that we put buddy system inside the classroom so that no one feels alone, no one feels unwelcome. Well, the same thing. No class should feel like they have no one to run to. I've experienced, you and I have experienced that when we have a problem with one terror teacher, for example, right? That the class is afraid of, terrified of. What do they do? What can they do? Well, they should be able to consult the older school, the older students, to ask for help, to ask for advice. For all you know, the older students will tell them, ah, mom is like that, but she's really very nice, very kind, very understanding, very good, etc. For all you know, the because we are young, the kids are young, they don't have the maturity to appreciate why the teacher is strict, demanding, high standards. But some students may actually say, um, she was the one who taught us discipline. She was the one who taught us to work hard, to work well, etc. Okay, so we go to the third. Remember, staff involvement, student involvement, and the third secret, the last, parents' involvement. We have to involve the parents, who are the primary educators of the children. There's a book of Dr. Thomas Licona entitled Character Matters. It's one of the best books available on how to form character, how to prioritize character formation in a school. And he talks about especially this item of getting the parents involved if you are to succeed in your effort of creating kind, caring, welcoming classroom and school. So how do we get the parents involved? Here's the first thing: communicate to them. Let the parents know that you, as a school, consider them as the first and most important character educators. That the parents cannot just have the attitude of like depositing their children to you, and then the parents will say, okay, we're paying tuition, you take care of my son's discipline, huh? You take care of my son's character, that's why we're paying the tuition fee. No, you have to make it very clear to the parents that, by the way, we do not replace you, parents. We do not um, steal that work, that task from you. We are just here to collaborate with you, to cooperate, to support you, but really, you are the primary, first and most important character educators of your children. And our job is just to reinforce character virtues that are supposed to be taught at home. Communicate that to the parents because that is a way of involving them and making it very clear to them we are not here just to discipline. That's not our problem, really, strictly speaking. We are here to teach them science, English, and math, but of course, to do the example of our life, we also want to be able to teach them values, character, virtues. But parents, you are really the primary character educators of the children. Okay, expect the parents to participate, therefore, through a memo, through a newsletter, through your website. If I go to your website, for example, I mean, this is an examination. Check if you are doing well in this aspect. If I go to your website, will I see there this expectation that in our school, we expect the parents to partner with us in especially developing virtues and values among our students. We are not here to replace them. We are here only to partner with you. If it is not clearly spelled out in your website, ask your web developers to revise, to add, to post something there that will drive home the message. But yes, it should be very clear that you, as a school, expect the parents to participate, that they are not just um, expecting you to do all the forming of character, but that you actually expect them to teach character at home. And that if the student gets into trouble, this is very important. If the student gets into a disciplinary problem, for example, the parents cannot just go to school and start blaming the principal, blaming the teacher, the class advisor, the classmates, blaming everyone except themselves. Wait a minute, Mrs. So and so, Mr. So and so, we were expecting you to do your share. Disciplining is not just a problem of the school. We are just partnering with you in doing that. Okay, now, all of you schools, teachers, administrators, of course, you have programs to form character. You have projects which have that as a goal, the formation of character. You, as a school, have certain policies, activities, programs that you put in place in order to form the character of the students. Let the parents know. Let the parents know what you are doing for character education and how they can help. That is driving home the point that you expect them to participate. That drives home the point that, you see, we're not expecting, we're not taking over your role. And the reason why we are giving you this memo, newsletter, note, information is because we expect you to also play your part, especially related to cyberbullying. Now, schools have to have policies regarding cyberbullying, right? I mean, 10, 15 years ago, we did not have to bother about cyberbullying. But because of the, well, everyone now has his own gadget, is in the internet. Every home, every house practically has a Wi-Fi connection, internet connection. Therefore, now we need policies about cyberbullying. Well, this has got to be very clear because the problem of cyberbullying happens at home, not in school, because they're not even allowed to bring out their cell phones most of the time. They're not even allowed to bring out their laptops many times, especially in the grade school. We don't normally make them use their computer, their laptop. So if there is cyberbullying that happens, it happens at home, which is the turf of the parents. And therefore, we should expect the parents to do something about cyberbullying. Okay? Or, as a way of involving the parents, teachers can come up with projects, assignments, homework, where they will get the parents involved. For example, in literature, you may be discussing heroes. So the assignment is ask your parents to make up a list of 5 heroes in their life and why. Interview them, interview your parents, and then you compare your list and the list of your parents. That's a character education homework that gets the parents involved. Okay, well, it's 4:15. We're beginning to um, go to the conclusions. I flashed this on screen earlier, and they are, as I said, what you will find in the Smart and Good High Schools book that you are going to be able to download when you receive the link to the recording. Very important, just to point out that component number one, which means it's one of the most important things to create a kind and caring classroom, is role modeling, which if you look back to the first 3 days of the series, you heard it over and over again. There's no other better way to teach character than through the example of our life. Therefore, if you are to create, if you are to create a kind and caring classroom, the teachers should be kind and caring. We have to put a stop to shouting, screaming, and yelling. We should never allow teachers insulting students, calling them para kayong mga squatter kung kumilos, wala kayong patutunguhan, you will never amount to anything, you will all be failures. Teachers should never be allowed to say words like that are totally unkind, uncaring. It does not belong to a school. No matter how much you condemn the discipline or the lack of discipline of the generation of young kids today, no matter how bad their attitude, their disposition may be, teachers, we are the adults and we are expected to be the ones setting the high standards for the young people to follow. Caregivers, models, mentors. In fact, you and I have seen how good, effective, caring, kind teachers have made a difference in our life and especially in the lives of the bullies. Here's a sixth grade boy. I was a bully before I came to this school. I used to make little kids cry. When I met Mrs. Brown, I changed. I'm not a bully anymore because Mrs. Brown taught me about character. That's the impact of a good, kind, caring teacher. Okay? Inventory of teacher as a model. Do I warmly greet each student? Do I seek other opportunities to connect with each student? That I am not just a teacher who comes inside the classroom, teaches the subject, and then goes out, and the students never get to talk to me outside of math, outside of science, outside of history, outside of social studies. Am I well prepared for class on time? Modeling. teaching by example. Do I model patience and courtesy even under stress? That's why we said we have to put a stop and not allow ever shouting, screaming, yelling, insulting, hurting, harming our students with our words. But that even in the way we react to crisis situation inside the classroom is teaching character, is teaching patience, is teaching kindness under stress. Do I treat all students impartially? And do I challenge all of them to do their best work? Okay, so far, everything we've said from day one points to this, that everything that happens inside the classroom is character building. And the reason why we want to create a kind and caring classroom is because the kindness, the caring that they will see inside our classroom, that is what they will bring with them when they leave our school and they become professionals. They will bring it to them with them as they grow old. What kind of young people are we preparing for the future? What kind of generation, next generation of young people are we preparing for our country? So, three things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind.